Equestrias Mirage 2, Dream Warriors by myself. Chapter 3, Welcome to the Show. Not to be based off of a similarly named song from a really awesome, fun Equestria Girls movie. Trixie smiled to herself with a very satisfied grin as she listened to the crowd around her. It had been over a year since the Alicorn Amulet incident, and over a year since she was pulled into Luna's being student. Since that day, she had helped the bearers of the elements escape from Mirage's trap. She had been hard at work trying to reclaim her glory and become famous. After a lot of work and a little help from her 6 friends, she was soon able to break free from her past. Judging from the large crowd that had awaited her in the stadium, it seemed she was successful in regaining her fame. Being a student didn't hurt either. A slick smile came to her as she appeared in a flash of smoke and fireworks to the crowd. "Welcome, one and all, to Trixie's marvelous show tonight!" she exclaimed, thrusting out her hoof. "You will see spells, magic, and daring tricks that you'll never see again in all of Equestria!" The crowd began to cheer as they watched the lights flash around her. They changed their attention to the stage as 2 ponies began to put Trixie in a straitjacket. To start, the great and powerful Trixie will escape from the straitjacket, Trixie said, using her magic to levitate a jar of yellow liquid above her head. "What's so great about that?" said Orange Pegasus. Trixie smirked. "She'll break out, only using her hooves. Also, she did drench herself with yellow liquid. She must do it before this fireball touches her. Otherwise, she will die a horrifying and painful burning death." The crowd oohed at this, as the light blue mare summoned her fireball and began to work on the escape. In the back of the stadium seating, a midnight blue Pegasus with a full moon key mark watched silently in. "Welcome, Miss Moonbeam, I must say," the stallion said as he guided the mare to her seat. "It's rare to see you here. Of particular interest in this musician." The mare simply smiled as he watched the show go on. "Let's just say I have a particular love for this performer." "There, seems to be a problem," Trixie exclaimed as the fire neared her mane. The crowd gasped in horror. The Moonbeam sat back and smirked. "Trixie seems to be stuck! Help!" Trixie screamed as the fireball landed on top of her, causing her to burst into flame. The crowd screamed in shock and horror as they watched as the performer burned alive, but then turned their heads when they heard, "Well, good riddance! What a horrible way to start a show!" said a blue mare sitting in a chair. "Now, Trixie would have started the whole thing off with a bang. Something so unexpected it would make the crowd break out into tears," Trixie said with a smirk, as she got off from her chair and ran past the roaring crowd as they applauded her. "Trixie hopes that all of you will enjoy her show, because trust her, you haven't seen nothing yet," she shouted as she teleported to the stage and released a torrent of cards and birds above the audience's heads. Alright, I'll admit my inspiration for the scene. This came from Now You See Me. I love that girl's performance where she performs a trick where she dies, but then reappears in the crowd talking about how disgusted she is at the violence. It was such a cool trick. See, that right there is a real magic trick. For the next 2 hours, Trixie entertained the crowd with tricks and illusions that left them all speechless. All the while, Moonbeam watched with a look in her eyes to show both approval and pride in the young mare. As the show neared its end, Trixie walked away from her last illusion and faced the crowd. "For the last part of the evening, Trixie," she said, panting a little, wiping her brow, "Trixie will entertain you a story from Equestria's past. What shall it be? T-Rex fall, the sealing of the Smooths, the fall of Titan, or shall Trixie tell a story about a possible future that our land may face? Any suggestions?" Trixie asked as she looked around the crowd before looking up at the back row. "Yes, you, the mare, with the moon cutie mark." The blue Pegasus smiled as he lowered her hoof. "How about the story of Mirage? I heard it was quite the adventure." Trixie's eyes opened in shock as she looked at the mare, before shaking her head and making her horn glow. "Ah, That one is entertaining, for Trixie herself was a part of that adventure. I have to laugh about stuff like the fall of Titan. Now Titan's become a mainstay of my fix where he's a doting dad. T-Rex didn't even show up until season 4. Walking across the stage, she created a small image of a catwoman holding 6 little pony shapes in her claws. You see, over a year ago, an embodiment of evil known as Mirage came to our universe and targeted our world for one reason. She desired to plunge our world to despair and helplessness, destroying our hopes and dreams, leaving us all in a time of darkness not seen in eternity. To do this, she took the bearers of the elements and bounded them in their worst nightmares. Seeing the trouble, Princess Luna sent her student to go off and free the 6 mirrors for her. Trixie produced a small image of herself, shaking hands with Twilight and racing off to each pony image as he said their name. And together, they reminded honesty of her strength, loyalty of her ideals, generosity of her inner beauty, gave laughter hope, and saved kindness from itself. When they were united, Trixie said, now showing the 6 mirrors firing a bright, shining rainbow beam at the cat creature. They defeated the embodiment. This, in turn, turned the creature back into a normal mare and banished the spirit of embodiment into the void. Trixie then finished off her show with a sudden blast of light and a quick bow to thunderous applause. As the show ended, the Pegasus mare neighed to the layers and walked out of the stadium as Trixie led to the stage. A few minutes later, Trixie walked happily towards her wagon. While being Luna's student could have given her the chance at a much larger wagon or anything better, Trixie had always felt more at home in her own wagon. It was a little more personal. As she neared her home, she quickly turned her head to look behind her at a noise. Shaking her head when she saw nothing behind her, the blue mare turned to walk back home. Using her magic to unlock her door, her attention was then quickly drawn to the sound of hoofsteps behind her. Quickly she turned and saw nothing. Trixie again shook her head and said nothing, and shouted up to just the wind. Entering her home quietly. Once inside, Trixie turned on the light and walked into her kitchen area, taking note of the Pegasus pony on her couch. And what does Trixie owe the pleasure of the visit, Moonbeam? Or should I say, Princess Luna? The dark blue Pegasus smiled proudly as she glowed dark blue and changed her form into a dark blue alicorn with ethereal mane. Impressive, she said calmly. Why don't Trixie get some tea for the top drawer? You saw through my illusion quickly. A smug smirk came across Trixie's lips as she prepared the tea for her guests. Of course, it was only a level 3 illusion spell, one that could only be seen through by the best magicians. You were having Trixie see through those illusions on her 3rd month. Luna beamed with pride. And I have to say, the speed at which you master your duplication spell is quite astounding. Yes, so, Trixie said, using her magic to generate a clone of her, while she began to scale a peanut butter cracker. Trixie must confess, it was hard at the beginning for Trixie to maintain 2 clones at once for a long time without wasting all of her mana. Now, however, Trixie could create 2. A second Trixie said as she levitated a cup of tea to a third Trixie. 3, a third said. 4, a fourth Trixie said as she shook the saucer away. Or even 5 Trixies before she... The illusions of Trixie vanished as she turned out the illusions. Tires out. I'm most impressive, Luna said, taking the tea in her magic and sipping slowly. You have been well surpassing my expectations, she said, smirking with a sense of pride in planning. But what brings you here, mistress? Trixie asked, walking to Luna's side. Surely you do not come just to be amazed at Trixie's prowess. We have a mission for you, student. We require you to be at Canterlot immediately, Luna commanded. Canterlot is a day's travel from here, but... Trixie began as a flash of light fell both for her and Luna. She will leave as soon as possible. Trixie asked if she saw Luna had teleported both her and Trixie to the Canterlot throne room. When we state immediately, we meant immediately, Luna says she walked away from her student. Yes, of course, mistress. Trixie said as he followed Luna from the throne room and down a nearby hallway. What do you request of Trixie? It is Twilight Sparkle, Luna said solemnly. Twilight? What happened to her? Trixie asked, a little worried for her rival. She has come under a spell. One that has put her to a deep sleep, Luna said. How long has she been like this? 4 days. All of her other life signs show she is all right. She's just in a deep sleep. Luna says they neared the door where Twilight was. And you didn't tell the public, because you didn't want to raise a panic, Trixie said. There's another reason. One you'll find out when you see her, Luna said, opening the door with her magic. As the Alicorn Unicorn went through the door, Pinkie Pie looked from the group and ran over to Trixie to give her the hug of her life. Trixie! I haven't seen you in forever! Trixie, where have y'all been? Well, you haven't seen you in almost a year. Elzak said, looking away from the sleeping Twilight with a smile on her lips. Hello, Trixie. Randy walked over to Trixie and lifted up a part of her cape. Do you still insist on wearing this old thing? I could make you a much more dazzling one. Yeah, you would think you would have time to visit once in a while, Dazzle shrugged. After all we did to help you with your show back in Ponyville. Trixie has been busy since that day she used to let you know. Trixie says she glared at Daz. Looking beyond a small group of friends, she saw Twilight lying in the bed with a small purple dragon asleep in on the mattress. Ah, and there is my greatest rival. Trixie knew from the sound of things this was just a small trick, and you had missed with Trixie. Well, now Trixie is here, and you can get up. Get up! Fuzzing a blue hoof onto Twilight's side, she feverishly shook to her side, but noticing no movement coming from the small framed Alicorn. Trixie lowered her head and gave a small whimper. As you could see, Trixie, Luna says the 3 other figures walk into the room. Twilight would never put off such a trick. Trixie gave a small sniffle. Trixie, was just hoping her rival wouldn't have fallen so easily. All right, Trixie said, a cunning smirk coming to her lips. Every pony stand back. Trixie will get Sparkle out of here. As the blue unicorn put her horn to Trixie's forehead, Hands used her magic to pull the dragon away from the bed to give Trixie time to work. The room seemed to become eerily quiet as the 2 unicorns became wrapped in ethereal glow, one purple and one light blue. She seems to be quite powerful, Luna, Celestia whispered to Luna as the spell continued. Of course she is. In all of this world, she is the only one whose control over the dream world is as close to mine. Her illusion magic is also something to see, something second only to Twilight. Luna beamed with pride. So sigh came from her lips as he continued. Mirage knows me and the others. Probably found a way to block us from freeing Twilight Sparkle. Trixie hasn't been with Twilight very long. She might be able to find something we missed that could help us free Twilight. Ow! No, it can't be! Trixie screamed as the spell quickly dispelled, and Trixie was falling back with Twilight, only caught by a quick grab from Rainbow Dash. Trixie! Art thou all right? Luna said, switching back to her old way of speaking. Yes, Trixie is fine. Trixie said, getting back to her host, levitating her hat back onto her head, a look of shock coming to her eyes. What that creature did to Twilight, it is unbelievable. Just shocking. Trixie has never heard of some pony using magic to do that to some pony's mind and dreams like that before. What does she do? Fireside asked, trembling. She split Twilight's mind into 7 parts, and then placed those parts into a dream world on their own. It's, Trixie said, her eyes wide with fear and admiration, almost beautiful. By now, Spike had woken up, and saw Trixie standing there with 5 other bears and 2 alicorns. A hopeful smile came to him as he teared. Yeah! Now that Trixie's here, it'll be easy to say Twilight now, and... Spike then looked at the sad faces of mares as they talked, and began to tear a little below. No, you can't mean... Are you saying it's impossible to save her? Shiny Armor asked, taking the crying drake in his hose. Trixie did not say that. Only that she said it'll only be hard, Trixie said, looking at the white unicorn behind her. Luna looked up at her older sister, whispering something to Celestia, to back to her student. Trixie, with what you have given me, I request your presence in my chambers immediately. We have much to discuss. Yes, mistress, Trixie said, following her mistress out the door. What are we supposed to do? Daz asked. Celestia sighed sadly. Until my sister and her student finish their plans, I'm afraid all we can do now is wait. Daz let out an angry snarl as he punched the wall and walked out of the room, muttering under her breath, I hate waiting. As Luna and Trixie walked down the halls of the castle, Trixie had a look of shock in her eyes at the sight of the spell. That spell, it's almost too much. Ugh. Trixie looked at her teacher and assumed a look of overconfidence. Not that it's a problem to the great and powerful Trixie. Let's give her a few moments to defeat that spell in an instant. It's all right to be nervous, my student, Luna said, looking over her shoulder at the blue unicorn. Mirage wants fear, despair, and hopelessness to take over you, and use it as a weapon. Remember, she lives off misery and fear. She feeds on the grief and hopelessness of others. Trixie isn't afraid in the least, Trixie denied, following her teacher into the room. Trixie is afraid, however, for her friends. Oh, Luna asked, a soft smile come to her lips as she grabbed 5 folders off her bed. Yes, Trixie is worried. She won't be able to help any of them when she gets them into the dream worlds. It might be too much for them, Trixie said, looking down at the feet. We know. That's why we come up with this plan, Luna said, handing Trixie the set of 5 folders. We've been looking over the dreams of several of our subjects for the past few months, ever since Mirage's first attack. On observation, we believe that these ponies might be the ones to help us. Trixie looked over each folder curiously. Trixie knows this mare. She has been to one of her shows before. This one she had seen in Ponyville a few times, while the other 3 Trixie's never seen before. How will these 5 help us? Trust me, when you meet them, you'll see why I picked them, Luna said with a smile as Trixie bowed and walked out the door. As the door closed behind Trixie, a laugh could be heard from Luna's mirror. Oh, how cute. You have a team ready to fight for me. That is so adorable, Luna. Hello, Mirage, Luna said calmly, not looking at the mirror with a crane pair of eyes. Hello, Princess, Mirage hissed, a little growl heard in her voice. I was just checking to see how you and your sister were enjoying my work. Luna began to snarl. You're trespassed to my realm, took away a close friend of mine, and now threaten the safety of my only student. Luna then turned to the mirror and made her horn glow with a bright flame. The only opinion of your work that we have is that you should be executed where you stand, and butchered like the animal you are! The eyes in the mirror looked back in shock. You would be, Luna. I thought you would appreciate the long nap that I've given to your friend. Now please, send your student and her new friends at me. Twilight Sparkle is getting lonely in her dream world. She needs the company. Luna watched as the eyes disappeared from the mirror and turned away, intending on stopping the creature, no matter what.